What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we're back yet again to talk about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, and talk about what are the odds of it being at that good old Game Awards. Now, honestly, I was gonna make this video and be quite negative in terms of I don't really think it's a good fit, and I'll explain why. And then I thought, you know what? No, there is a place they can actually do it at the Game Awards that I think is a better fit. So let me try to explain my thinking, and definitely let me know, in the comments if you think this game is ever going to show up. The path we've been on with this game has been very weird, right? Because obviously there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that happened with it in terms of swapping hands and giving a bigger budget, and I think actually a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in that way was done very well. The odds of it being a better game because of, quality-wise, because of that stuff is pretty high. So, I wouldn't necessarily take it back. I wouldn't really want it any other way. But, they came back. They were very active. We got the gameplay trailer where we got to see a whole lot more of how the game is going to actually function, and I was very pleased with it. I think this game is going to be a pretty solid game. And then they've gone dark yet again. In fact, they kind of propped up an event, I think, a month and a half ago, and then they didn't show literally anything at it. So that kind of ticked me off a little bit. But overall, they're kind of back. They're kind of not back. But here's the deal. I'm not letting go of all the stuff that, we've talked about. Now, the game's release and the whole beta release, the thing that I have to be careful on, right, was I was always trying to, put their feet to the fire of saying, well, hey, you say 2023, and obviously, that's not happening. Not like a lie, but, you have to, amend that. You have to change it. And to their credit, I do believe on their official things, I think maybe even on their Twitter, it's now 2024. So, the game has officially been pushed just in front of everybody's eyes. So, it's not a question of saying, well, we were supposed to get the beta, 9 months ago, maybe, and we never did it. And the game was also supposed to be out by now, and it's not out. I don't think that's you can't say that. I can't say that personally, okay? I got to be responsible there. I can't say that as much as I used to because that obviously they've moved it, right? However, I don't care how many times you swap hands behind the scenes. You do need to do something. So I'm waiting still for a beta date. I think we'll get one obviously eventually, but is it at the Game Awards? Okay, well, what I originally, like I said, was going to say was no, and I'll tell you why no. Game Awards, the actual show, the big show, okay? Or I'm trying to quote Elfin in a way, but that show is for very big announcements. If you do something the size of Killer Klowns, and it's not to say it's a worse product. It might actually be a better game than some games shown at the Game Awards. I'm not saying quality. It's simply the magnitude of the announcement. It's actually more or less the politics of the gaming industry. So I really don't think the size of this game fits to do it as a big announcement during the Game Awards, especially if it's a beta date that is not big enough. And I would say not even the announcement of this game would be big enough to be at the Game Awards. I think you really go big. Now, not every announcement is enormous there, but they're generally pretty big. And to further prove my point, number one, Killer Klowns was not announced there originally. It was announced at Gamescom. Number two, what I actually want to use to say why it could be at the Game Awards, but with a slight caveat, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, the year that Texas got announced, okay? It was announced at the Game Awards, but here's that caveat. It was announced in the pre-show. And so if you missed it, if you missed Sidney Goodman, listing off some of the awards, which I also find very hilarious that they give out some of the awards for the Game Awards in the pre-show that I'd say maybe 80% of people don't watch it, right? And then they do it there, so nobody actually knows who wins. But anyway, that's where they announced Texas Chainsaw. So it was at the Game Awards, but it also, officially, if you want to be very official, it was at the pre-show for the Game Awards. Honestly, I mean, and you can make the comparison in more than one way. Killer Klowns makes a lot of sense to me to do the exact same thing. Now, Texas was announced. Before that, we actually thought I had made videos on it. The rumor was it was a Halloween game. It wasn't even known for sure that'd be Texas Chainsaw. So I remember that and thinking, oh my God, it's officially, I thought it was a big deal. And I think the game is somewhat of a big deal. It's a pretty sizable game. Killer Klowns, I feel it could, at its best, if it comes out and it works and everything's okay, I think it'd be very comparable to the size of Texas Chainsaw, maybe a little bit smaller, but you're working in the same basic area, right? I feel like that would fit to do a pre-show announcement. It's just not big enough for the main show, especially because you would probably just do a beta date. And I will go so far to say, controversially, like a prediction or opinion, I don't think you even get a release. Like the next time you see this game, I'll guess that you don't do it. That could be wrong. I think Texas Chainsaw actually gave out the beta date and the release date. I think it was at the same time. So it is a risk. I am making a kind of a riskier prediction here, but I have a feeling just because of a little bit more uncertainty. They've never done anything, to the scale. Now, Ilphonic is a huge part of it. They have done something to the scale. And who knows, like, I don't even know officially, like, are they still going to, like, owe us a beta, or are they just going to eliminate that? I really hope you get a beta for it. I honestly would just say follow Texas Chainsaw, because that game was one of the games to actually break through and say, we're going to focus on one property, but we're going to do it really well and really, really focus, like, on it, and it's going to work. And largely it has. Like, I don't think it's going to stay around too long, but I think largely they broke through in that Dead by Daylight, sphere that they kind of live in. So I would expect beta date at some point, and then you probably don't get the release date till after, but that's just, a risky prediction. And I'm hoping Game Awards. And obviously, like, I kind of said it without saying it, the first reason you would think to the Game Awards for Killer, well, there's actually two reasons. Number one, eyes, right? So, like, they could do their own stuff. In fact, when they dropped the trailer, they did it on their own, and they got a pretty decent, viewership. They don't maybe necessarily need Jeff or the Game Awards to do it. However, the connection between them, obviously, is they announced their game at a Jeff Keighley show. And so there's that link and everything else. I mean, Jeff makes links with, like, everybody, right? So it's kind of a cop-out to say it, but I'm still going to say it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. As soon as I see something on this game, I'll be sure to talk about it with you all, and I hope to see you there.